Welcome, food and fitness lovers, to Tina's Ageless Kitchen. I'm Chef Tina Martini. You might know me as the Medicine Chef. Welcome, food and fitness lovers, to Tina's Ageless Kitchen. I'm Chef Tina Martini. You probably know me as the Medicine Chef. Well, today we're going to the sea, and one of my favorite foods, and that's clams. We're going to do a couple different things from the ocean, but all of them have one thing in common, and that's selenium. Selenium is definitely the anti-aging mineral. So we're going to talk a lot about that and all the things that selenium does for us. So the first thing we're going to do is clean the clams. Now this is kind of a funny way to do it. I've got just some rough cornmeal here and some fresh water. So I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to put the clams into the water with the cornmeal. Now what this does is it gets the clams irritated and agitated. And that way they're going to spit their grit out into the bowl so that when we're making clam chowder or doing our recipe here with quinoa, we're not going to get that grit in our mouth. That's a rookie mistake, chefs. We don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and either put flour, cornmeal, or something to agitate the clam and get them to spit their grit out. And that way it doesn't end up in our mouth. All right, so I've got some vegetable broth here that I flavored with a little bit of sun-dried tomato. And sun-dried tomato, kind of leathery when you get it. And these definitely need to be rehydrated, very similar to dried mushrooms. Now, putting these in the vegetable stock that we're going to use to cook our quinoa does what? It adds another layer of flavor. So this is a great idea, and it saves just time and another step. I earlier put it into the boiling vegetable stock, let them get soft, and then just chop them up after I remove them with a slotted spoon or however you want to get them out. All right, so it's boiling now, and again, it's vegetable stock that's flavored with the sun-dried tomatoes. This is quinoa, and quinoa is one of our ancient grains. Really great source of amino acids, really great source of protein here. So let's go ahead and just stir this in so that we're not getting any lumps. And we're just going to let that cook while we do some other stuff. Now, if you want to flavor them with some of the herbs that we're going to use in our clams, you can go ahead and do that as well. I'm going to add a little parsley and a little bit of fresh chopped oregano. And that's going to give just another depth to our quinoa, as well as the vegetable stock, and then the residual flavor from the sun-dried tomatoes. All right, so the clams have sat in here, and they begin to, as I say, kind of spit their grit out and that. And we're going to go to the back sink and just dump everything out and rinse it, because you don't want the cornmeal in what you're cooking. You're not going to eat that. That's not part of the recipe. So let's just go ahead and take that out, and we'll rinse our clams. Let's just put them in a clean bowl. And make sure you get all the cornmeal off, chefs. We don't want any of that going into our beautiful broth that we're going to eat later. That will muddy the look of it, and it also will be unpleasant on the palate. Okay, so the clams are all cleaned perfectly. We've got our quinoa boiling away in our flavored broth, which is going to be an excellent accompaniment to our clams. Let's go ahead and switch this out, and we're going to cover that for now and let the quinoa continue to cook and rest in its flavored broth, which is going to be really delicious. And we'll switch that out, and we're going to go ahead and melt some butter and saute some garlic. All right. This is going to be a great Sunday afternoon get-together meal. If you're barbecuing, this would be a great addition to your barbecue. Really just kind of a fun, interactive, having friends in the kitchen with you. Really great. All right, so the garlic, allium family, and we know that those are one of the most powerful cancer fighters we know of. It's also very high in quercetin. Quercetin reduces trauma in the body, so garlic is definitely one of our go-to flavors as well as one of our go-to phytonutrient stores. All right, so once that is melted, you don't want to put any color on this, chefs. Just let that get kind of softened and let the butter melt. And then we're going to go ahead and hit it with some white wine, and we're going to reduce that by half. Now, you hear me talk about reduction a lot, and I know I repeat myself, but it's really important to understand that concentrating ingredients gives you more flavor. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat up a little bit and bring this wine to a boil, and we'll reduce that by half, again, just to intensify all of the flavors. Break up your garlic, and this is going to be a nice additional way to flavor the broth that's going to be so great to use a baguette or some kind of wonderful bread or roll of your choice to soak up that beautiful broth after we steam the clams in it. All right, so we're going ahead and letting that go. Let's talk about the clams right now. There's lots of different clams to choose from. Mussels are going to be prepared the same way. So what I would suggest is go to your fish market or your fishmonger and find out what's the freshest that day, and that's what you're going to select. Things that have been sitting around, you know, the shell is kind of dull. Those kinds of products we really want to stay away from. If you're able, you want to get a few from the fishmonger and just hold them and smell them for a moment. They should smell like the water they live in, not fishy or have a kind of a rancid odor to them. And again, if they're even slightly open, you want to give those back. They are bad, they're dead, and so we don't want to put those into our broth, obviously. All right, this is looking good. Oh boy. I'm going to add some clam juice now, and that's going to intensify the clam flavor. Let's add some herbs. So I'm going to put in just a little bit of our oregano, a little bit of our parsley, and how about some lemon zest? Now, lemons are one of my favorite, and they're a great way to add kind of a salty flavor without adding too much salt. So lemons really are one of my go-to ingredients. Now, lemons, of course, bioflavonoids, limonene, really powerful bioflavonoids, and that is a family of phytonutrients, and they're referred to by researchers as super antioxidants. They are the ones, the bioflavonoids again, that help us turn back the aging clock and slow the aging clock. All right, let's just swirl this pan around. And we've got the reduction happening here, looking great. I'm going to go ahead and add our sun-dried tomatoes. And again, just more great flavors going on here. We could do a bay leaf, very classic with seafood, and some cracked black pepper, and I am going to add just a pinch of some sea salt with our lemon zest, and that's going to give a nice rich flavor. So I'm sure that you can already tell that the aroma in the Ageless kitchen is just getting better and better by the minute. Now, one thing about bay leaves, and bay is a really nice female herb. It helps calm PMS and the effects of our menstrual cycle very nicely. Bay is a very calming herb for us, and again, particularly for female hormone balance. The one thing about the bay leaf I want you to remember, chefs, is that it's the #1 reason that people go to the hospital when they eat in a restaurant. Not pulling that bay leaf out is like a razor on the esophagus, so please remember to count the bay leaves going in, and that way you know exactly how many bay leaves you've got coming out. So we're just going to let that bay leaf kind of rehydrate and infuse the broth, and oh my goodness, we're reducing very quickly here. I'm going to pull that bay leaf now. We just, again, just a couple minutes just to give the flavor, and we're kind of rushing it here just to get through the recipe because it's something that you at home will be able to really enjoy and let kind of saute slowly. Today we've got a couple things to get done, so we want to just kind of get through this. All right, so I'm going to put the clams right in. Really nice looking clams here. And we're just going to wait until they open. Now our quinoa is over here cooking, so we've got everything going on at once, just like a good chef does. Remember, we want to multitask all the time. You shouldn't really just be standing around in the kitchen. There's always something to do. All right, so we're waiting for the clams to open, and if you'd like, you can put a lid on this. I just wanted you to see what was happening with our clams and how beautiful the broth really comes together. So if you want to put a baguette together in the oven with some butter or get some nice crostini toasting, now would be the time to do that. All right, so as you can see, this is working, and we're going to wait for the clams to steam open. Now, a really great time to get crostini, French bread, a baguette with butter into the oven, and of course you're going to have a lot of great broth to sop up with that. I want to give a peek to our quinoa just real quick and see how we're doing over here. We're just going to want to fluff that up, and that's looking beautiful with the herbs, and oh boy, I can get the aroma off of that as well. So much medicine here, and two different types of protein, as we spoke of earlier. The quinoa loaded with amino acids, 28 amino acids in the human protein, only 9 are essential, and that you get from a wide variety of food. So when we come back, our clams will be open, our quinoa will be nice and fluffy, and we'll want to give that just a little lift with a fork. It'll be time to bring it to the plate, and then we'll do an Asian shrimp salad. I'll see you in just a second.
Hi, I'm Chef Joseph Manero with Taste This TV. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Katz gluten-free products. Now, Katz gluten-free is not only gluten-free, but it's nut-free, dairy-free, and soy-free as well. So when you're looking for a healthy, alternative, gluten-free snack, Katz has got you covered. From their powdered donuts all the way to their cherry pie, chocolate muffin, choose Katz whenever you're choosing the dairy-free and gluten-free. That's enough for Taste This TV. For more information, log on to the website at the bottom of the screen and check out Katz.
Welcome back, chefs. I am so excited. Would you look at how gorgeous these clams are? All right, they've steamed open now. Gosh, oh, they're just beautiful. Can you tell how much I love food? This is very exciting. All right, so it's time to take your French bread or whatever delicious bread you have in the oven to soak up all of our gorgeous broth. The clams I'm gonna take out, and let's just put them in a little bowl over here. Whoops, I've got a little bit of water there. That won't hurt anything. So let's just take these guys out. All right, oh, how beautiful these are, and they are just perfectly cooked. Let's go ahead and get them out. We don't want them overdone. And a spoon or whatever you have works. I'm just so excited. I just want to get these out and into my mouth, and I'm sure you feel the same way. What a way to get our anti-aging selenium, omega-3 fatty acids, great amino acids. I mean, it is just all kinds of great stuff going on here. Who knew phytomedicine could be so fun? Well, okay, my clams are bigger than my bowl here, but that's all right. Let's just get them in. Now let's go ahead and let that reduce just another minute, chefs, and let's fluff our quinoa. So we're gonna come over here, and now you can see that all of the broth has absorbed into the quinoa, and it's opened up, just kind of like a little bird seed. And boy, is it fragrant as well. So we can get a serving dish and just put the quinoa down, and why not just use this one? This had our little sun-dried tomatoes in it, so I'm gonna show you how fluffy this is. Okay, isn't that beautiful? And again, what a way to get our amino acids. This is really a nice grain, either warm or cold. You could do a salad with roasted vegetables or anything that your family likes. And then we can take the little clam out, and of course you just, you know, use the shell as a little sipping device, a little shot glass, if you will. And then just remove that. Oh, and is it so tender and gorgeous? Oh boy, okay. You could even do some fun little clam shots if you wanted. Look at the liqueur in there. Oh, you definitely want to give that to your guests. Or just take a little bit and let it cool down and sip it right out of the shell. Fabulous. I love nature shot glasses. Okay, so we're going to put our clams all over the top of our quinoa, a little sprinkle of our epigenin, also known as parsley, and then we can put this over as a drizzle, or make it more like a soupy type consistency and eat it with a spoon and dip our crostini or our French bread. I can't wait to put it all together. The next thing we're doing is our Asian shrimp salad, and the pesto we do is something you've probably never seen before. We're going to put it over some potatoes as well. Love the Asian potato salad or the shrimp salad, and I think we'll stay with the shellfish theme and put it over some shrimp when we get back. All right, welcome back. Well, that was very exhilarating watching our clams open up and get ready to enjoy all that good flavor. Well, now I've got even more flavor for you. We're gonna do a pesto, and most people I think relate that to Italy, but we're gonna do an Asian pesto today, something a little different, and we're gonna add that to some delicious poached shrimp for an Asian pesto shrimp salad. Now this pesto has a lot of medicine in it. As you can see, there's many different ingredients. We're just gonna do it in the blender. You could do it in a small bullet blender if you had one. You could do it in a food processor, whichever you have handy. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this right now. All right, so what I'm gonna do is get all the different herbs and things that go in, get the garlic. We're using a lot of aromatics here. So there's some garlic going in. Here's some chopped ginger. Now ginger I can't say enough about, chefs. It really is a powerful anti-inflammatory. It strengthens the digestive tract. It cleanses the colon, protects the hormone receptors. I mean, the list really goes on and on. If you're traveling, you can just put little coins like this in a Ziploc bag and keep them in your pocket. And if you get air sick or seasick, you just tuck one of those little pieces of ginger in between your tooth and your gum or the side of your cheek, and you can just suck the juice out, and that will stop the nausea. And I have a great story of a client that was on safari. Everybody was sick on the bus, but she had her coins with her, and the ginger stopped the nausea. She was the only one on the safari that didn't get sick. So it really does work well for you. All right, green onions, really a staple in Asian cooking, and it's gonna give that nice, fresh, bright flavor that we all like. I'm gonna do just a little bit of salt to pick up all the flavors, and then we've got some fresh mint. And we wanna be careful here and not over blend our fresh herbs and turn them black. So we're just gonna zip this really quickly together. Now I've got some soy sauce here, and we'll go ahead and put that in. And I've mixed that with a little bit of fish sauce. Now, if the fish sauce is too strong for your family, I do recommend just mixing it with a little bit of soy. But if you like that umami flavor, and that's what the fish sauce is all about, really just fish that's fermented and preserved with salt. And it's a very ancient technique, and it is very traditional in the Orient. However, it was originated in Roman kitchens, and I don't think most people realize that little bit of history. I've got some fresh lime juice, and that, of course, is very bright. Again, my citrus is always in use in many of my recipes. I just think it's the best. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of honey here, and that's gonna help bring the pesto together. And it's gonna give a little bit of sweetness to all of those great umami flavors. And then we're gonna zip with a little bit of peanuts and a little bit of peanut oil. Now peanuts, really great to help us burn body fat. Again, we're kind of going savory and a little bit of sweet with our pesto, because once our shrimp are cooked up, of course, they're beautifully sweet in flavor. Now peanuts are a great aid to help us burn body fat. Resveratrol is the phytonutrient in peanuts, as well as red wine. It helps us burn body fat, specifically visceral abdominal fat without exercise. Gotta love that. All right, I'm gonna drizzle in a little peanut oil, but first we're gonna put our lid on, and we're gonna use that like we do olive oil in pesto to bring it all together. So I'm gonna start this on low, perfect speed there, and just let that grind up for a moment. And then as you go, drizzle in that peanut oil, and that just infuses that beautiful peanut flavor and smooths it out more like a spread. So I'm gonna let that go for just a minute. The resveratrol also increases longevity, as well as helping us keep the body fat down, and it is another one of our anti-aging tools from the Ageless kitchen. All right, let's pick up the speed here. and really just emulsify that well. And that looks absolutely perfect. All right, nice green color. And we're gonna put this in a bowl and press the plastic down on it because we don't want the oxygen to turn the herbs in here too black. We want that nice green, beautiful color on our shrimp. And when we come back, I'm gonna show you how to do a court bouillon to match what your flavors are in here, and we're gonna poach that shrimp. I'll be right back. All right, well, welcome back to the Ageless Kitchen, and it's all about super selenium and other minerals today because our shellfish is the focus, and it is just loaded with all those minerals. Now, minerals do a number of things, and one thing that we need to know about minerals is that they really should be consumed later in the day. The only vitamin that really should be consumed in the evening is vitamin D. We know now that we uptake vitamin D much more efficiently at night as we sleep. But the general rule is vitamins in the morning, and they repair and restore and invigorate basically. And then the minerals do a lot of the other major reparative work on our nervous system and that kind of thing. So the meals that we're doing today with our clams and our quinoa, and now we're going to do our Asian pesto shrimp salad, really are great later in the day meals because they are so loaded with minerals. Now here's another mineral loaded superstar. Do you know what this is, chefs? It's not something to beat your husband with. It's a lemongrass, and the lemongrass really is an overlooked, nice addition to all kinds of food. But again, it is more of an Asian influence type thing. So the lemongrass is kind of rough and tough and fibrous. It's not really something that we want to put directly in our mouth, but more as an aromatic to infuse flavor into our water that we're going to poach our shrimp in, or you could do it to infuse oils and that kind of thing. All right, the lemongrass again is a mineral superstar. Every essential mineral can be found in the lemongrass, as well as lots of vitamin C, like most citrus type situations. All right, so I've got a little hammer here to break open the lemongrass, and it's gonna allow those essential oils to flow into the court bouillon. Now, what is a court bouillon, you might be saying? Well, that's the poaching liquid that we're going to use for our shrimp. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut a little piece off. This freezes beautifully, so if you know that you're not gonna use up this much lemongrass, just wrap it in some saran and some foil, and then go ahead and pop it in the freezer. You can also shred it on your shredder or in your food processor and put it in a little jar, and it freezes beautifully, and it's already prepared when you're ready. And we love stuff that's ready when we're ready, and that's thinking like a professional chef, isn't it? All right, so I'm just gonna pound it. And another tool of destruction in the kitchen, but really an important one. It's a meat tenderizer, but it really works well to kind of open up the essential oils in our lemongrass. So I've just beat that so that the essential oils and all of the beautiful aroma is released. I'm gonna do some limes and some lemons. You can pick your own aromatics. And so this is what I mentioned earlier, the court bouillon. Now, court bouillon is any liquid that contains aromatics of any type, and we use that to poach protein in. So I'm gonna use that to poach our beautiful shrimp. We can see tail on. Now, I like to leave the shell on normally as well. I just wanted to have a little less cleaning for you today in the Ageless Kitchen. If you cook shrimp in the shell or with the tail on, again, it's just gonna infuse that court bouillon with more of that great ocean flavor. I've got some ginger here, and we talked about the ginger in the pesto, and I can't say enough about ginger. I mean, it really is just the super health and beautiful flavored type addition to our recipes. So the court bouillon's going, the water is simmering. I'm just gonna slide the shrimp off real gently into the water. Be careful, chefs, you don't wanna splash hot water on yourself. And again, we've got the tails on, and that's gonna give us a little more flavor. Let's kind of swirl the pan. Now the shrimp start to turn pink almost immediately. You don't want to overcook your shellfish at all. Just like with the clams today, we really wanted to get those out of the bouillon or the broth that we were making, and get those into a bowl so they don't toughen. All right, let that go. Now, as the pink starts to come up, that's the astaxanthin that you're seeing. And the astaxanthin is a phytonutrient found in shellfish, much like lobster and crab. If you think about their automatic cooking timer, turning pink lets us know that they're done and they're nice and tender. The astaxanthin also acts as a little garbage dump truck, and it goes through our cellular system and through our bloodstream, collects all of the toxins or garbage, and helps us eliminate that naturally. So the astaxanthin, a very powerful antioxidant, as well as the super selenium that we found in our clams. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take this out of the court bouillon with a slotted spoon. Take the tails off, and when we come back, we're gonna put it all together. I'll see you in just a moment for some Asian shrimp salad. All right, chefs, it's Super Selenium Day in the Ageless kitchen. We did our clams earlier, and wow, what buttery goodness those babies are. We've got our broth over here. Now, I've got a little bit of broth in with the clams, and you could serve this kind of a soupy stew kind of thing with the quinoa, our great grain of protein. And then we've got the oven roasted or the sun-dried tomatoes, whichever way you like to do it, and just rehydrate those in your broth. And again, it gives another layer of flavor. We made up our mint and oregano pesto with our peanuts and peanut oil, giving it more of an Asian flair than the usual Italian flair. Really great either way, and really great for us. So I'm just gonna use a little bit on the shrimp, and don't drown your ingredients, just kind of coat, you know, to a nice degree. We don't, again, want to drown it. The shrimp is the star of the show. And when you're deciding how you're going to present your various recipes, I would suggest that as a good way to think about how you want to showcase your ingredients. What really is the star of the show? And here it's the shrimp. So I've got the pesto down over, and let's decorate with just a little bit of the crushed peanut. That there for now. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of our crushed peanuts over, our resveratrol increasing longevity and our fat burn capability. Astaxanthin turns our shrimp pink, and that's the garbage collectors in our bloodstream, moving out all of the toxins. We've got the omega-3 fatty acids, and again, super selenium, the anti-aging, anti-cancer mineral that helps us from aging. It is the anti-aging super longevity mineral that helps us get good sleep and helps prevent our hair from turning gray. That's one of the reasons that it's considered the anti-aging antioxidant in the mineral family. All right, so you're going to get great sleep, have great skin, and you're never going to age. Let's decorate with a little bit of fresh mint for our pigeonin. Looking gorgeous here. We'll put that right in the middle. And you could spoon a little more broth over. Get your nice crostini out and get ready to enjoy the beautiful tender clams and the super sweet shrimp. Well, I've enjoyed my time with you today, traveling all around the ocean and looking at nature's wonderful gifts. I'm Chef Tina Martini. Join me again in the Ageless kitchen for more anti-aging secrets. Here's to your health.